All right, boys, we've got a minute-long clip of Karl-Anthony Towns in Knicks gear for the first time talking to head coach Tom Thibodeau. There is one key thing I want to point out into this, which I'll do when we get there, but here's Cat and Brunson talking. You can see all laughs, all smiles. It's going to be a fun year, guys. I can't wait. So right here, focus on this. You can see Cat is getting his knee, it looks like, iced. We actually have a new trainer, guys, Casey Smith. He's going to be running our sports medicine department. As you can see right there, guys, another Knicks player with 2 ice bags on his knees. Here is Cat and Tibbs talking. He already has played with Tibbs. He had his best seasons under him. Here's Tyler Kolek, our second-round rookie. It's going to be interesting to see how his season unfolds because Tibbs usually doesn't like to play young guys. Brunson knocking down a jump shot right here. 2 in a row. I'm going to assume, yeah, I was just pretty much expecting it to go into this point whenever Brunson shoots it. It was only a minute. Oh, we do have one more. That's Jericho Sims. Okay. Sims out there. He looks in good shape, which is nothing new, but you can see working on that post game is something that he's been doing the entire offseason. If he can get that down, he's going to have a much larger role for the Knicks. That's, of course, Precious Achiuwa out there without the headband, looking different, and that's OG Anunoby knocking down some mid-range jump shots, it looks like. Josh Hart on his phone, no surprise there, with 2 ice bags on his knees. Looking like Patrick Ewing out there, guys. There's Mikal Bridges. Hey, let's go. Haven't seen him much in Knicks gear. I mean, him and Brunson only played together a couple of times. That's what Brunson said to the media. He was working on some free throws. Look at those shoes, man. Brunson always has the cleanest shoes, bro.
What was your reaction when you heard the news you were coming to New York?
Shocked. Shocked. More of the word flabbergasted would be more correct, but just shocked.
They did not want to put DiVincenzo in this trade. That's why it didn't happen earlier in the offseason. But ultimately, it became clear that in order to get the deal done, you had to put DiVincenzo in there. Minnesota wanted DiVincenzo, and that's why he was in there. It was not about his frustration with any role this year, reduced role.
Can I ask you about Cat now, or are you still willing to wait?
You can ask me. Maybe I'll answer me that.
Have you thought about the pick and roll with him and what that might look like?
Yeah, I've thought about it. He's obviously a tremendous player. Been in the league for 10 years now. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, he's going to be a great piece once he gets here and everything, and we'll go from there.
Alright, boys, welcome back to another video. Knicks Daily here. This is more so just going to be a reaction to what happened today. As you guys saw earlier, we got our first glimpse of Cat in some Knicks gear. We got to hear from him and how shocked he was to be traded. We heard about Jalen Brunson, how he feels about playing with Cat, and then also Ian Begley speaking about Dante DiVincenzo. There was more information that I couldn't add due to copyright, but basically what he said was that, yeah, Devo wasn't thrilled with taking a diminished role, but that wasn't why the Knicks traded him, which I did talk about, but originally it seemed like, oh, well, Devo just didn't want to be here. He didn't want to come off the bench. He wasn't thrilled with it, but he was willing to do it, and the Knicks just had to get rid of him, which they didn't want to get Cat, which that clarifies that, because I was really bummed out that we traded DiVincenzo, but now knowing that we had to, I mean, okay, well, we had to do it to get Cat. I'm certainly not complaining. We got one of the best players in the game. So my thing overall with Karl-Anthony Towns is he just gives us a better chance to win a championship. I've seen even big Knicks fans tell me that, oh, well, Cat is not the best defender. What if he has to get matched up with Joel Embiid? Well, the thing is, if our biggest concern is Joel Embiid, then we're in a great spot because he's never healthy. And we also just beat the Sixers with Embiid without Julius Randle, right? Our second best player at the time. Now we've got Mikal Bridges. And we've got Karl-Anthony Towns. I don't think we'll have much of an issue. Sure, they got Paul George, but show me Paul George in the playoffs. Paul George, can he stay healthy? So I'm not really too concerned with it. And if both teams are healthy, we've got Mitchell Robinson, who is going to be able to do a lot of damage against Embiid, of course, on the defensive side of the ball. And we also have OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges to throw at Paul George, and we can throw a Miles McBride potentially at Tyrese Maxey. I'm not really too concerned with them. The one team I'm concerned with is Boston, and I wouldn't say I'm concerned with them. It's more so if we're chasing them. They're the defending champions, and we got to give them respect. I'm looking at the Knicks when they had OG. They went into Boston, TD Garden at the end of the season. They were up 30 going into the fourth quarter. They didn't play their starters in the fourth. That's why the game looks a little bit closer than it was. I do believe that if we had been healthy with Randall, OG, Bogdanovic, Mitchell Robinson, I believe we take the Celtics to 7, and I would not have been shocked if we beat them. We have the best roster to be able to compete with Boston, and that was even before we made all these moves. Now especially, but even then, guys, we had, of course, Julius Randle, who was playing some high-level basketball, some of his highest against the Celtics. Jalen Brunson's the best player on the floor in that series. Mitchell Robinson defensively is huge. And then we've got good defenders and Josh Hart on the perimeter too, and OG and Miles McBride. We've got a shooter in Boyan. Dante DiVincenzo as well as a good defender who can shoot the basketball. We have a lot of talent, and we've only gotten better. We've increased the power in our starting five by getting Mikal Bridges and Karl-Anthony Towns. In terms of our bench, guys, I don't understand how some Knicks fans are concerned with our bench. We've got Miles McBride as our sixth man, Precious Achiuwa, Mitchell Robinson when he comes back, Cameron Payne, Landry Shamet, Tyler Kolek. A lot of bodies. Can we get another leap out of Jericho Sims? We saw all offseason he was in the gym and he was working on his post game. Even today during practice, he was working on his post game. So I think Sims is honestly going to have a very good season. And yeah, I talked about adding in Dwight Howard earlier, but that doesn't take away from me believing that Sims can take a leap. I mean, he has a 44.5-inch vertical, and he's been working on his game. Plus, he's got a great coach, a future Hall of Fame coach, a lot of good players around him. And then the young guys, it'll be interesting to see what we get out of them. I personally think we're going to go with a veteran-heavy rotation, so expect to see probably another guy we brought in. We did go out there and get TJ Warren yesterday, who is a career 35% three-point shooter, a very good scorer. We know what he did, of course, in the bubble. He was arguably the best player. I mean, the guy was first team in the bubble. I mean, he was unbelievable next to guys like Luka and Harden. It was pretty crazy. And also the Knicks, of course, we did bring in Marcus Morris, but we ended up releasing him, which it makes a little bit of sense now because we went with Warren, who I think offers us more upside. I think Morris was more of a locker room type of guy, but Warren has the ability to truly elevate the back end of our bench. So we're relying heavily on some homegrown players, right? Off of the bench. Tyler Kolek, Miles McBride, Jericho Sims. We also have Mitchell Robinson too, but we also, of course, have Cam Payne, Landry Shamet, and Precious Achiuwa. Some of these veteran players who we ended up making a move for, whether it be signing or trading for. I mean, of course, Achiuwa was in that OG trade. I love the state of the roster right now. I think it's going to do big things. I am so excited. I mean, I can't stress to you guys how excited I am to cover the Knicks for you. This is the best roster we've had in my life. The last time I felt this good about the Knicks was actually never, because we had one good year back in 2012, 2013, but that was a team that certainly didn't have championship aspirations. Yeah, they were the 2 seed, 54 wins, but realistically, I didn't think they were winning the championship. But right now, I think we're the best team in basketball. I think if we stay healthy, we're winning it all, and there isn't anyone I fear. I don't fear the Celtics. Jalen Brunson is the reason for that. Jalen Brunson, I can sure as hell promise you, does not fear the Boston Celtics. He will go on the road and he'll drop 30, 35. Now we've got Cat, 41% from three last year. Career 40% if you were to round up, 39.6 at the top of my head. OG Bridges with that defense, also guys that can give us 15 to 20. Josh Hart with his ability to rebound the basketball, to push the pace, to get downhill, can guard multiple positions. And of course, we saw he was clutch shooting the three ball in the playoffs. Game 6 in Philly closeout, knocks down the game winner. Game 1 hit a couple of nice threes that was able to help us beat the Pacers. I love this team, man. I can't stress it enough, guys. We're going to do big things this year, and I'm going to be covering it for you because we are going to be getting into live streaming this season. But I'll see you guys when I see you guys tomorrow. Peace.